In the grand scheme of angling, there are countless ways to catch fish. And when it comes to efficiently locating and catching deep water crappies, we'd like to share a simple yet superb tactic for fishing 3 ways in 1. 3-way rigging minnow imitating crankbaits, that is. In essence, 3 ways combine a trifecta of line, swivel, and lure to present trolled or drifted baits a select distance above bottom. Employed correctly, they cover water while positioning your lures smack dab in the fish zone 100% of the time. You can't beat those odds. Nor can you outproduce their consistent results. Because when it comes to crappies, simple and straightforward techniques are usually best. And when crappies move deep, that's exactly what 3-way rigs do in depth.
Very, very last hook. Not a bad one, huh? I'm surprised you're not whacking and stacking these, Danny, to keep them.
What did you throw them out for?
Yeah, you can keep, there's a few of them. I'm trying to get the parameters of where these fish are at.
You know, every year Al and I enjoy chasing panfish, and particularly crappies. And recently, we've been getting into a technique that's just a little bit different.
Hey, not only is it different, it is incredibly productive, and it's something, a presentation delivery system, that most crappie fishermen don't do. And when it's used in the right place at the right time, it's incredibly productive for big slab crappies and numbers of fish. You're going to learn something today if you're a crappie fisherman, I hope.
Fall is a great time to chase after any species of fish, and one of our favorites is the crappie. This fish can be doing a lot of different things at this time frame, so you gotta be flexible. Right now it's late September. I would consider this early fall. The water temperature is still fairly warm, 65 degrees, but dropping like a rock. This fall window can be a deceiving time of year. A lot can happen very quickly, and these fish move quite a bit in a short period of time in preparation for the winter months. The shallows cool quickly at night and force some fish to start evacuating the flats. Some fish at mid-levels start moving deeper. At the same time, the suspended fish start becoming more structurally orientated. So there's a kind of mass exodus of crappies from shallow to deep and from the vast open water to structure. This is the early stages of aggregation. These fish can be spread like chaff in the wind. That's where a good set of electronics, a Lake Master map, and a fast, or somewhat fast, fishing presentation can cut your search big time. Today we have modified the traditional 3-way rig we use for walleyes to allow us to hunt and find crappies on the prowl.
There's a big school of them right there. Look at this. Those are the guys that we're after. There we go. 23 foot of water. Oop, there he goes. Yep.
Ease them up, that could be a crop.
Okay. Anchor. Here he comes. Anchor. Boy, that spot lock feature is it's the cat's pajamas when it comes to fishing open water like this. Whoop, gotta be careful with these guys. Nice crappie, that's what we're after today. This is really a seek and destroy mission. Right now, Al and I are searching for these fish. We're trying to find out how big the fish are, how big is the pod, how far is it spread. So right now we're just hunting, you know, just trying to isolate where these fish are at. We'll get her back. You can see our first path was out a little bit deeper. So we came back around, we had one fish, but we marked a lot of fish shallower. So now we're taking our next path in just a slight bit shallower. Trying to see if there's a little bit bigger pot of fish inside.
Maybe it is. Yeah, it is. A little bit better. Ready?
You got fish, Al?
Yeah, a little bit better.
Nice.
A little bit
What'd
better.
you get him on?
I had one before that too. Look at him. Look at him. He bit on the very, very last hook. Not a bad one, huh? I'm surprised you're not whacking and stacking these, Danny, to keep them.
What did you throw them out for?
Yeah, you can keep it. There's a few of them. I'm trying to get the parameters of where these fish are at. They're not really bunched. You got a break here. The best I can tell, you keep locking it in here. You've got 100 yards
Oh, there we
of
go.
little pods of fish, longer. That's so typical
Nice and
this
easy
time of the
out.
year.
Just like that.
Easy, easy.
Oh, he's coming up out the back. There he is.
Little crop, little guy.
Got this starting to get her dialed in. Not big, but it is the species we're after. And watch out with those little tiny hooks there. You got a
If
good
that's
one?
a crappie, it's a good one, Dan.
You got one going, huh?
If it's a crappie, it's a good one.
We're starting to dial it in a little bit more. You just keep on going and whittle it down. You want me to
Nice
stay
one.
on
Not a giant, but not a bad one.
Nice. You want me to stay on the motor?
I don't need a net on them, but
Oh, that's a nice one.
I said they're not bad. That one's got 2 hooks in. Look at that. That's the original little floating original rapid. The thing about that little bait, you barely got to move it. You can fish so slow with it, and you got a nice wiggle. That's the key. You watch your speed over the side of the boat. Speed is critical with these little baits like this. Yeah, you go too fast and it starts spinning on you. And you watch the speed over the side of the boat. You can watch it on your depth finder that you're running everything. Once you get the right speed for the wind, for the depth, you're locked in. You're fishing as slow as you can, but you're doing it as fast as you can. Does that make sense to you?
As slow as you can, as fast as you can. That's an Alism if I've ever heard one. Let me explain what he's talking about. Right now, I am on the Minn Kota Tarova, manually controlling the speed and depth that the baits are running in. We are meandering up and down the break, anywhere from 20 foot of water to 35 foot of water, in search of the biggest pods of active fish. When we hook up, we immediately throw down a waypoint. On this particular break, we have isolated this scattered school to be 150 to 200 yards long. Now the moderate wind is blowing directly into this point, so like any efficient angler, we fish into the wind for better speed and depth control until we get to the end of the pod of fish. Then we pick up, drive down to the beginning, and start the pass over again. We don't waste any time. We have a depth zone that the majority of the fish are at. Now we will tighten the noose even tighter.
Okay, I want to show you this feature that uses the Humminbird, the iPilot link, and Lake Master maps. Look at this. Go like this. Drag that cursor over to the depth that we're catching the fish at. Hit go to. It gives me this follow contour sign. You go like that. It'll pull up this map. We want to go the blue that goes north. Go like this. And boom, the motor automatically goes right to that depth, and it'll follow me right along that break where we were catching all those fish. Look at that. It's like a chauffeur for your boat. It just got to 22 foot of water, and all of a sudden it's going to take a left and take me up that way. Look at this, 24 foot of water. It'll snake in and out of 22 to 24 foot of water. It's a real sharp break right here, but that's where we're seeing all of our fish. Set my speed. You can either do it here or else on a remote, and away you go. Look at this. You can see it put a waypoint on when we started catching those fish, and there's another waypoint up here where we ended catching those fish. This thing is so slick, it'll pull us right through there, and you can just focus on fishing. You're not fighting your electronics to stay in and out of the wind and all that stuff.
Oop. Bait out about being them right now.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
Did I call that, baby?
you called that all right. Boy, you hit it like a... I hit a mark on it. I don't know if it... You want me to keep on going? Boy, we're
Yeah,
marking
keep
more
going
fish
just
here,
a little bit further. I want to pull me through it. I got mine too.
You got one too?
Yeah, mine's a little
Oh,
guy.
that's a nice one.
Yeah,
huh?
you got a little bit better one.
All right. All right.
Ta-da! I got a
Nice
look. He's got a
crappie.
pretty nice one.
Beauty. Put her back.
You know, we're talking about natural lakes that we're fishing here today, but in reservoirs, so many reservoirs that don't have a lot of cover in them, that are pretty slick down. These crappies are doing the same thing. You'll get them down off of the creek or river channels, off of the big flats, and you've got no problem. You don't snag up in any trees or anything. And the movement of fish is the same. The principle, you know, is the same. And I know in South Dakota, some of the guides that we know are starting to use three-ways there. The crappie population has exploded on parts of the Missouri River system. And Chad Schilling, a buddy of ours that guides in that area, he's one of the Lund Pro Staff guys. He's been doing pretty good whacking big numbers of crappies, and he's starting to pull three-ways there on the cleaner bottoms and really whacking the fish big on it. So, you know, more and more guys are adapting this system to find fish fast. Yeah, you know, and then once you find a pot of them, then you can sit on them and fish them slightly different. But when you're hunting these fish, you know, initially, when you got smaller groups like this, it's a heck of a fun way to cover water quick, and it's a fun way to fish. There's some methods of fishing that are more fun than others. This one, for catching crappies, ranks high
Nice and
on
easy.
my fun chart. That's for sure.
I don't know. Me just to keep on going here, Al?
Yeah, keep me going right through the pod.
There he is.
No,
Oh,
just same size.
same size.
Actually, a little bit littler. He hooked him on the side of his face. There was a ton of fish.
Boy,
back
there was a pod, huge pod of fish down there. Thing is, you're getting all sorts of sizes right now. There's little fish, there's big fish, all sorts of sizes out here.
You know, when these fish start bunching up like this, you catch them all sizes. Yeah, you know, you're not into 1 year class or one size category. You can catch them from this big all the way up to 2-pounders. And so it really is amazing to me when they start setting up in the times of the years where they bunch together in an area. The food is right, everything is right, and they're going to hunker down there for a long period of time. It's just lots and lots of fish, and they can be a variety of sizes sitting right in them. Sitting right in. You'll set on one that's this big, and the next drop it's a 15-incher.
Thing is, you're getting all sorts of sizes right now. There's little fish, there's big fish, all sorts of sizes out here.
You know, when these fish start bunching up like this, you catch them all sizes. Yeah, you know, you're not into 1 year class or one size category. You can catch them from this big all the way up to 2-pounders. And so it really is amazing to me when they start setting up in the times of the years where they bunch together in an area. The food is right, everything is right, and they're going to hunker down there for a long period of time. It's just lots and lots of fish, and they can be a variety of sizes sitting right in them. Sitting right in. You'll set on one that's this big, and the next drop it's a 15-incher. Bait ought about be in them right now.
It's funny, Al talking about calling the shots or seeing the fish on the depth finder and catching the fish right after it, and reminds me of when I was fishing with my dad out on the Great Lakes, and I must have been 10 years old, and he would go by these schools of fish and he would do a fish call. And sure enough, you know, like 5 minutes later, boom, we'd catch a fish. You know, and then he would do a fish call, and he'd catch another fish. And I thought it was magic. I had no idea what was going on. And later on, when I was about 15, 16, he told me that you'd see him on the graph and mark him, and he would do the fish call. I didn't even know what a graph was, so this is kind of a funny little story. It reminded me of.
Okay.
Nah, you got him?
Yeah.
You want me?
I got him.
You want me to keep going here?
Yeah, just go through. I'll just
All right.
take him in easy.
All right.
I don't think it's a good fish. Yeah, it ain't a bad one. It ain't a bad one. In fact, better than I initially. Oh, I lost him. I went to pull him in, and I lost him. That's aggravating. You know, your rod and reel combo is a real important part of this deal here. Well, we're fishing the Quantum 6'3", medium action, which is a fairly light rod. And I've got a size 10 reel, so to see. The small Small quantum reels are great for this. We got them spooled up with 6-pound test Sufix braid. And our drop line and our lead line to the bait is Sufix monofilament, in this case Elite. And the reason you want mono is it floats better, it keeps these little baits higher out away from the three-way, so the bait is staying at the right level you want it to stay at. Naturally, if you put fluorocarbon, what does fluorocarbon do? It sinks, it pulls the bait down. You don't want fluorocarbon on this. So you want a light Sufix braid, 6-pound test, and you want to use mono on it. That's one of the keys. And the mono also is, it's a little more forgiving on those crappies, and you shouldn't be losing them the way I just did because I was reeling them in too fast. Oop, I see him on the screen,
Yeah,
Dano.
there's a big school of them
I
here.
see him on the screen here, Bob.
Oh,
Oh, you're on him here, Bob.
Ooh.
You are on him.
Yeah, there's a big
This,
school
this
of
is the school. This is a load.
Yeah, I know. I
This is a load.
marked those.
Oh, got him.
There we go. Where's he at?
Small one, Dan.
Oh.
You can keep going. You just keep going through with the fish.
Okay.
This is a smaller one. Little guy, little guy. This is really a fun way to fish. I'm telling you, it's just, you can cover so much water. And these hooks, the little hooks on this Rapala are they're like needles.
Get that guy back in the water.
I see him on the screen,
Yeah,
Dano.
there's a big school of them
I
here.
see him on the screen here, Bob.
Oh,
Oh, you're on him here, Bob. You
Ooh.
are on him.
Yeah, there's a big
This,
school
this
of them.
is the school. This is a load.
Yeah, I know. I
This is a load.
marked those.
Oh, got him.
There we go. Where's he at?
Small one, Dan.
Oh,
You can keep going. You just keep going through with the fish.
Okay.
This is a smaller one. Little guy, little guy. This is really a fun way to fish. I'm telling you, it's just, you can cover so much water. And these hooks, the little hooks on this Rapala are they're like needles.
get that guy back in the water.
Three-way rigging for crappies is no different than when we three-way walleye, pike, or even lake trout. The only thing that changes is the tackle, simply downsized to fit the species at hand. Right now we're using 6-pound Sufix 832 braid for our mainline. This helps detect light bites at great depths. Then you have your three-way swivel. This is naturally downsized for our small rig today. We are using anywhere from 1/2 to 3/4 ounce lead as a dropper about 2 foot below the swivel. This helps get the bait down and keep constant contact with the bottom. This is very important. It is a little bit of a balancing act. You need a heavy enough weight to keep bottom contact and control the lure's speed. The line to the lure is roughly 3 foot of mono, which floats and keeps this bait up and moving. Now we are at the business end of the system. The original Rapala floater is what we are using today. It's a number 3. That means 3 centimeters long. This is the baby of the original family. If you are chasing jumbo crappies, another good choice for three-way fishing is the Rapala number 6 flat wrap. It's a killer. The important element with both of these lures is that they are floaters and they run shallow. You want a lure that is very buoyant to stay up in the water column and won't dive too deep, defeating the purpose of the three-way rig. Once you get this system dialed in to the depth the fish are at, the spread of the school, and your speed control, it can be like assembly line fishing. One after another of all sizes and shapes.
Whoa,
Perfect
look
for
at
people
that
like me
jumbo
who
crop.
enjoy a great crappie meal.
This guy, I think we're gonna keep. Bring a few home and eat them.
You know, if you watch this show regularly, you know I often close with a reference to the Bible. And this book has had a major impact on my life, how I think, how I act. And like it has multi-millions of people all over the world. I got to tell you a story that happened to me recently. I was down in Lake Texoma doing a television show with my son Troy and our cameraman Brady. We're out the first morning, shortly after we get out on the water, and I get a phone call. See, it's the office, so I answer it. Lo and behold, we are about to lose one of our major accounts. This is a big deal. It's a big piece of business to Lindner Media Productions. And I kind of flipped out. I actually, for lack of a better word or words, I lost it. I said things that I wish I didn't say, and especially the way I said them. And you should have seen the eyeballs. My son is sitting in front of the boat. His eyes are this big. My cameraman's mouth is dropped open. Do I really hear you? I mean, I did lose it. And I was back and forth on the phone for much of the day. That evening when we got off of the water, I had a major walk around the parking lot, around the campground area that we were at, and I had to come to the Lord and say, Lord, you got to forgive me. This was really stupid. I'm sorry for what I said, especially the way I said it. I can't believe that I let that kind of anger rise up in me and I kind of flipped out the way I did. This hasn't happened in such and such a long time. But I did learn over the years that every once in a while, sometimes we lose it. I know some of you can think of a time or two where maybe you lost it and said some things, well, you wish you didn't say the way you said them. That's where I was at in this case. But I learned over time when I do something silly like that, I come to God, I said, forgive me, and that's what His Word says, and I go about my business. To make a long story short, it all worked out. Everything is fine today. We have that account, and we're doing a great job with them. Just had to share that with you, just in case you're tempted to lose it one day. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, you had a good, safe fishing season. We'll see you on the water. Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for watching. And if you really like what you see, we got a whole lot more. So check us out at any one of these online outlets.